live from Warrior Park for the last game of round 13 of the PS4 Victory League. It's the ladder leaders Olympia hosting the real bolters of the league in Launceston City in what should be an intriguing tussle on the sunny side of the river on the eastern shore. I'm Damien Gill from FFT, bring this one live to you with the ever reliable Drewster Rooster by my side. Drewy, how are we, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. It's always good to bring you the games here on the superior side of the river. Maybe not so sunny today, that's for sure. But looking forward to this one. Big clutch. Launceston City, who probably with the tabletop side for a while there. But the last 2 weeks, 2 big upsets.
They've been hard to topple. They might not always create a lot of chances, but they certainly make it a tough ask to get goals against them, which is something you want. I think you want to be a hard team to play against, and Lino Shuley's definitely done that with the Launceston City outfit. We'll get onto the host first of all. Olympia FC Warriors, of course, top of the tree at the moment. Their lineup, Drewster.
Some experience with them, reliably informed. Play there, well, position wide, Alex Holmes at the heart of the defence, just having another great season. Just quietly goes about his business, working with the outcomes. Very tough to get past. Number 9, Manny Sekiris, well, 6 goals from last week. He certainly bolstered his golden boot tally there, so his confidence might have returned. And of course, supplying him in the hole behind the creative dynamite that is Gavin Hoy. Really love watching him play. Yusuke Takatsu will presumably play at right back.
Love his work, Drewster.
Damien, a big fan of his gloves.
Shocking.
Hasn't got them on today, you'll be pleased to know. Number
Good.
21, Spiro Paradisus, is retained in goals. We saw Sean Lewis just having a run out in the reserves in the game beforehand, so clearly he's not too far off. Paradisus can be very stiff to be dropped. He's really deputised brilliantly. And number 16, Jake van der May, will play alongside Holmes in the heart of defence. The bench, Dimitri Nesta, the backup keeper. The lettuce farmer, Nick Meredith, a popular sub of McNeil, loves to bring him on for 20 minutes. We've got a lot in the way of starts, but we're a big fan of the lettuce farmer. Number 18, Jack Callan, not going to lie and say nothing about him. He's sitting on there. Number 19, Stuart Page, and 20, James Ackley, rounding out Glenn McNeil's squad for a big game today.
We just saw James Ackley do some lovely work in the VDL. He's a little pocket rocket. I wouldn't mind seeing him come off the bench. He might add plenty to this Olympia side. On to Launceston City, the visitors. They've got, of course, David Smith, who's been a real rock for them in goal. He's guarding net. This isn't quite the updated lineup here from City. Greg Duffy's actually out of the country, so he's not going to feature in their 11. Shane Egan is, though, and he's coming off a big outing last week up against Devonport. He was man of the match in that game, a huge one for them. Dom Rossi also in a really good spot of form. He's been at the heart of a lot of their sharp attacking movements. Toby Amenahu at the back, the skipper, of course. He's a real leader. Hayato Agusu is an interesting one, a Japanese player. I think he's really good friends with Northern Rangers Kenta Yamane, and both players have given plenty to their chosen Northern outfits in 2015. He was super last week up against Devonport and of course a big upset win at Valley Road. Aaron Campbell, who's also given plenty down the flank, a lot of creativity. Andrew Terthrow, the Englishman, is actually on the bench today. Alex Shuley in defence, Nathan Butler so too, and Ben Brookfield, the other Englishman, it will be in midfield. I'm just trying to work out who. I think it's DeGhetto maybe potentially getting a start. I'll have a check there, Drewster. You'll be all over this, I'm sure.
Compain is in the starting lineup.
Compain. So Compain, he's been in and out of that starting lineup. He comes in. Trethowan to the bench, which in itself is really interesting, Drewster. When I've watched Launceston City this year, Trethowan has been a real live wire for them. He scored some crackers. I'm not sure what the story is there, but I also heard rumours he'd left the country and he wasn't coming back. So there's obviously no truth to that because he's on the team sheet, albeit on the bench. And look at that shot of Lino Shuley. Look at that, the little floral background. He's got his Sunday best on. He's looking the goods, and hopefully Lonnie City can do the same out on the pitch today.
Yeah, we touched on a good defensive record. They haven't been conceding many goals lately. Ground out a 1-0 win over South Hobart 2 weeks ago, and the same result against Devonport. So wouldn't expect a free-flowing attacking game if Launceston City have their way, and on the narrow confines here at Warrior Park, that might just suit a defensive setup. Of course, Olympia have had some goal-scoring problems of their own until last week. They'd only scored 3 goals in 4 games over the course of a month before running into Knights last week when they duly smacked 14 past them. So maybe they've got over that hump and they took out a month of pent-up frustrations on the Knights. But it'll be interesting to see how they go against a pretty tough defence in Launceston City, albeit a big loss in Duffy today for them. That could be telling, I think.
Big game for both sides, of course. It hasn't gone updated this, so it has on points, but Northern Rangers bowled up to 4th with a huge win yesterday, but an opportunity for Launceston City. If they can get 3 points, they can actually cement themselves a little spot in the 4, and it's a logjam there, so any points they can gain against the top sides will be crucial going into the last round of the competition. Olympia, of course, on top, 27 points, separated by 2 ahead of South Hobart and 3 ahead of Hobart Jeep Zebras, so they're still in it, those 2 teams, and any slip up for Olympia could prove costly.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen South Hobart ground out a pretty good result yesterday, and Zebras, they fought back from a goal down over Devonport to keep the pressure on them in this title race. The referee today, as you see, Craig Phillips, Kim Possible Barker, and Josh McInerney, I think it is, will be the assistant.
McInerney, mate.
Yeah.
Big chirper. No, I don't think it is. That's his brother Hamish. But Josh McInerney on the line there, and of course Kim Possible Barker, one of our favourites. Craig Filthy Phillips. He doesn't mind a bit of controversy. It will be interesting to see. Of course, Launceston City don't shirk the issue. They're a pretty physical side. It will be interesting to see whether there's any slices of cheese in this one, maybe even a slice of tomato.
Well, we saw Hobart Zebras play a pretty physical defensive game a few weeks back against Olympia. It did seem to put them off their passing a little bit, and I think that is the best way to try and beat Olympia, is to disrupt them with a bit of a physical game. So I would fully expect Launceston City to be well and truly up for this contest, and I'd expect the challengers to be flying in, so the referee will have a job to do, one would think.
Drewster, we've touched on the success of Lonnie City, how they're the bolters of the comp, the real surprise packet, but one of the key men in Greg Duffy isn't there, and I wonder how much of an impact that'll have on them. He's really the cornerstone of that successful back four they've had this season.
Yeah, we saw Egan was one of the best players last week, so he's obviously going to have to step up and play another blinder today. Duffy, yeah, he's a rock back there. There's not a lot more you can say about him. He's one of the best defenders in the competition, so it's going to be a big blow. How will they deal with that? It can be very disruptive. Even one man out of that back four can just throw the whole thing off kilter with offside traps, etc. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. Big job, whoever they've got coming in to replace him, and certainly against a pretty attacking Olympia side with some quality players. And when you've got Luke Isles as a fullback, you know you're going to have your hands full defensively.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it, Drewster, with Griffiths and Woolley out of the side. It looks like Isles might slot back into fullback. A position he's not, he is accustomed to from years gone by in the NTC. Played a lot of his football there and is a multi-talented footballer in that respect. But he obviously, when going back to fullback, gives them the defensive side, but also we know his attacking exploits. So that's something Lonnie City are going to have to watch as well.
Yep, the players lining up just about out here. George Mamarcus just casually strolling across the field. He's the king of this venue, really. He can do what he wants. He'll just take his time getting off the field. As the players start to walk out now with the referees. And a quick prediction before we get started, Namo. How do you see this one turning out?
I like Lonnie City as a team. As I said before, they make it really hard to ground out results against them. And I think that will be the case. But I think in the end, Olympia will be too good. I think there's just too much quality across that starting 11, especially, Shay Hickey, Nick Mearns, Luke Isles, and the likes of Gustafsson, who's found some form in recent weeks. So I think they'll be too good in the finish. I think it will be a 2-0 result.
Well, I was going to go 2-0 as well, so I think we're in unison on that one. I reckon Duffy's a bit of a loss, and I think there's just a bit too much about this Olympia side. A bit more at stake for them with the title race really starting to heat up, so I think they'll get the job done today, as South Hobart and Zebras did yesterday.
Yeah, it's an interesting title race, Drew. I think while it remains the 2 games is still alive, because of course Zebras, Olympia and South Hobart all have to play each other before the end of the year, so anything can happen as far as that's concerned. So Olympia would be wanting to make sure of these points today, really take the 3 points against Launceston City. But for Launceston City, if they could get a result today, whether it be a draw or a win, geez, it'd cap off a pretty stellar couple of weeks of football. Of course, they knocked off the reigning champions South Hobart, then they went to Valley Road and took the points away from Devonport, which very few teams do. So if they could add the scalp of the ladder leaders, geez, it'd be something to crow about for the Northerners, and they've had very little to crow about in recent years, but they're a much improved side.
Yeah, they're really building nicely. It's good to see Launceston really finding their feet and coming into their own here in the Victory League, and it would be a massive scalp. It would be a real statement of intent if they could knock off Olympia on their home turf. You mentioned Devonport. It's a tough result to go into Devonport to get a result. Well, it might be even tougher to come here to Warrior Park and beat the hosts, especially this season. A few very fancy lids out there for the Olympia boys today. Just having a look at them. Manny Securis, 6 last week. He'll no doubt be looking to continue that today as he been played into form.
How confident do you go into a game knowing you've just netted 6? I mean, that's a ridiculous haul of goals.
From a combined 6 yards just about, I think.
He didn't have to do too much for them, did he? There was 2 penalties and about 4 tap-ins. So, but 6 goals. Yeah,
very impressive.
Very
you still got to get in the position, don't you?
Exactly right. Gustafsson, I don't even think he got on the score sheet, but geez, he buzzed around and caused some mischief. So I think he's one to watch for Lonnie City. And we have kick-off here at Warrior Park. Brookfield on the ball. Shifts it back to the skipper in Amenahu. Down the line, he's got Campbell offering. He goes longer and stronger and finds a Guzu, who's offside immediately. And that brings that one sharply to a halt. Alex Holmes for the Warriors. Will shift across to his partner in crime in Jake Vandermeer. They're a very sturdy partnership. Of course, played together for 2 years now. They know each other well. As Holmes delivers through, Campbell cuts it off. Boy gets involved. He's crying out for a free kick. It doesn't come as it's shifted in from Campbell to Egan to Brookfield. Does well for an instant, but then Hickey gets involved and just chips along looking for the run of Gustafsson. Smith first to it. Cuts it off for Lonnie City.
So Olympia will just go drop back here. Lonnie City going long and strong all the way here. It's going to go through the keeper. Some pressure here from Compain on Holmes, but he's experienced enough to just see it out of play. And perhaps a slight wind advantage favouring Lonnie. You saw how far that ball carried there. Really flew off the boot.
Did indeed, Drew. I know we're only a minute gone, but I've liked the start from Lonnie City.
Yeah, pressing hard. We expect that from them. They're going to be a very tough side to break down. They're not going to give up any easy goals, I wouldn't have thought. And now they'll come forward here through Agazu. He hits the deck and wins the free kick. It's not particularly pleased, but he certainly did infringe in there. So Lonnie City with a bright start here.
We've talked about the confidence of Olympia, but so too Launceston City. I think you only have to look at their play against Devonport last week in the highlights, and they're playing with a real vibrancy we haven't seen from them in recent years, and I think that's just the confidence that's growing from the results they're getting. It's played forward from Bartlett. It's headed away from Holmes. Back for Bartlett. He just shovels it out wide. It's cut off, and it's with Gustafsson. He toes high, looking for Securis. He wrestles with his defender in Butler. A little too much, says the referee, and it's a foul against this Olympia spearhead. Smith will wander over and take the free kick.
So they build from the back here. Bartlett on the ball. Demands something of a teammate, then shifts it across to his captain. He'll play it back. Olympia looking to box him in here, and it spills out off Hoy for a throw in.
Drewster, it looks like Bartlett's slotted back there with Butler, and we've got Shane Egan playing that defensive midfield role he played last week. Bartlett, probably the real shining light for Launceston City in their 2 dismal years at the start of the Victory League. So you replace quality with quality there as it's shifted into the middle. It's Hickey on the ball. He squirts this one and it sprays out of play and out for a Launceston City throw in. You
can see a bit of a crowd gathering here on a lazy Sunday afternoon on the Eastern Shore. I've seen bigger crowds out here, but
I will say, Drewster, Olympia this season, and rightfully so, are packing out in numbers.
They've done well, haven't they?
Even with travelling teams, you do see a lot of blue and white here at Warrior Park as Dom Rossi tries to weasel his way in down the left-hand side. Cut off by the man they call Mr. T.
Yeah, they're up and about down here this year, Olympia, and why not leading the competition? Looking every bit the title favourites. It's brought them crawling out, and they're enjoying this season, the fans. They're coming out every week in force, and good on them.
Hickey just gives filthy Craig Phillips a bit of a mouthful. Foul against him as he just rode more or less on the back of Dom Rossi. Shuley with a free kick. Delivers long into the box. Paradisus up to the task, outstretched arms, jukes it, long and strong he goes, bounces and headed down from Gustafsson. It's there for Sakir as he touches inside and fires into the bottom corner. Far too easy for Olympia. A goal for more or less nothing, an error. Just let in Sakiris. It was Butler who headed into his path and bustled over his teammate, and Sakiris latched onto it, ran into the box and fired into the bottom left. That confidence from last week's 6-goal haul has carried into this week.
Yeah, he's clinical, and he's a man who's very dangerous if he gets his tail up early in a contest, Manny Sakiris, so be happy with that one. Butler has got to cop the rap for that one, unfortunately. It was a poorly placed header. It played Sakiris in perfectly. It was a perfect assist, really, but not really what you want your centre-back doing. And an early blow here. We talked about how solid the defence has been for Lonnie City over the past few weeks. Well, it was anything but then. It was the first time in this match they've been put under pressure, and they really made a hash of it. So Olympia with a bright start, and they'll be looking to build. They're filled with confidence after last week as Hoy played in Neymar, but it was quickly cut out, and they'll get the ball back here as Isles, as we mooted, is just slotting in at left back today. I'd certainly expect him to be bombing on and getting forward at every opportunity. He's been a little bit down on his form after a bright start to the year. Of course, we're copping substantially more attention from opposition game plans, you'd have to say, as the long header is belted out of there, really, as the fullback there, sorry, it was Bartlett, and that's going to go all the way through to the keeper, and he'll look to get things restarted.
Drewster, a real disappointing goal in terms of Launceston City. We touched on how they've been hard to score against, and they've made it really, really tough to get anything against them. That was way too easy. It was a very, very soft goal, and it came from an error from Butler, and he'll want to have his time again as Hickey again fouls Amenahu this time. And yet again, not happy with filthy Craig Phillips. That might be a nice little narrative throughout the day. It's Bartlett approaching halfway, takes a free kick, drives long into the box. It's off the back of Isles. Sits okay for Brookfield, but Moons jumps in and wins for Olympia. And the out for Amenahu. Shifts wide for Campbell. Unfortunately, trickles out off his boot and out for a throw-in.
Well, I was thought about going to Holmes, but he was quickly shut down, so goes shot to Hoy, but his return pass wasn't great. Now there might be an opening here for Compain. What can he do? He cuts back in, Hoy's there, and they break that up to Olympia, so no real threat. Dealing with that fairly comfortably as Compain will hustle here and try and pressure Paradisus. He launches long, and Neymar's in behind Amenahu here. He takes a touch and drags it back, waits for support. It comes in the form of Gavin Hoy. He plays a lovely return ball for Neymar. Oh, they've opened him up here, and Sakiris puts it away. A tap in, 2-0 Olympia. What a start here at Warrior Park.
That was delightful to watch, Drewster. Really good play, good combination of that of Gustafsson and Hoy out on this left-hand side. And I mean, Sakiris isn't going to miss that one. Before that, you saw Gustafsson give it to Hoy, and then he slipped it back in, and silver service from Gustafsson to Sakiris, and he doubles up. And we're only just over 5 minutes here at Warrior Park, and it's already getting pretty ugly for Launceston City.
Yeah, Sakiris might just fancy another 6 for this stage. He's on fire. 2 early goals, and Lonnie City, they've looked anything but the solid defensive unit of weeks past. They were completely brought undone by the Hoy and Neymar combination. With Isles at fullback, it just... You've got Waddell on one wing, those guys down as Lonnie City try and get an immediate response. It's played out of play. But yeah, Neymar and Hoy, I love watching those two link up. Two very intelligent, creative players. And it was an inch perfect pass from Hoy returning it there, and a beautifully timed run from Neymar. It was very smooth football there to make it 2-0. And Lonnie have now got a monumentous task, really, to try and get back from an early 2-goal deficit.
It's going to be tough going, I'll tell you that much. Sakiris, all of a sudden, he's scored 8 goals in 2 weeks, looking the goods, and all of a sudden now 2-0 tip, looking far too conservative. It's driven out of the Warriors' defence, Butler cuts it off, it's into the middle, and it's Compain, who lashes onto it, finds a Guzu. He tries an ambitious effort, deflects and into the arms of Paradisus, who uses it immediately, uses it well, finds Hoy. He gets inside of Campbell. He's got Egan to contend with. Sprays a ball out wide that will trickle out for a goal kick.
Looks a very confident figure at the moment, Hoy. He's got his tail up. That's the thing, early goals will breed confidence in this Olympia side. It scored just 3 goals in a month leading up to last week's shellacking of Knights, and they seem to have played them back into some pretty handy goal scoring form, it would seem.
Drewster, you can see in the background Harry Woolley and John O'Griffiths having a beer, enjoying the game. Harry Woolley, of course, suspended from that red card a couple of weeks ago. I think Griffiths still has a bit of a niggle, but it's a way to enjoy things when you're out, as Shane Egan picks it up, loses it, and it's Hickey who races away, plays out in front of Securis. It's cut off by Bartlett, but sent back in from Adawu. It's an overshot effort, and it's over the bar and out for a goal kick. Very
dangerous signs here, though, for Lonnie City. They've been cut open, forced deep, without a lot of real pressure. Look a little bit rattled at the back, you've got to say. And how much of an absence is Shane Duffy playing in this? We know what a key figure he is, but without his leadership at the back, they do appear to be struggling early on. So they'll take the goal kick here.
The Duff man's being missed, that's for sure. Butler and Bartlett just need to maybe talk a little bit more. That's what it's looking like. A couple of times they've run into each other as it's driven along by Smith. Menahu off his head. He's running down the right hand side, but it beats Campbell. And out of play for a throw in. It's Biles who takes it for Gustafsson. Just volleys forward. Bartlett picks it up. It's back to his keeper and uses him. Gets it immediately on the boot. Forward, brought down for Miles. Who should win it? It's a Menahu that does, and Egan nods into the midfield. In the bullseye, it's Brookfield who takes it, but he's a little bit sluggish on the ball there, and Gustafsson takes it off him. Goes back to the keeper and Paradisus. Shifts wide for Vandermeer, and Hickey again back to the defence. Holmes takes a stride. Played around Olympia, patient build-up. Holmes out on the left-hand side, picks up Hoy. He chests down well and just to switch it up. It's Butler who gets involved with an intervening head. Brookfield to Rossi, who we haven't seen much of just yet. Surely back to Rossi, and Rossi forces it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, need to see a bit more of Rossi. We know what a key player he is. Of course, scored the winner last week. They got that early goal and then were able to just grind it out for the rest of the match. Well, different story today. They're chasing the game, and Dom Rossi needs to assert himself on this contest. Yeah, he hasn't been involved enough early. Can they build something here? They've got the numbers forward. Taking their time to think their way through this. He goes down the line, but Takatsu was there to win out and just knocked that one out of play. Just dealt with his man pretty comfortably there. Certainly not shy about pushing men on here, Lonnie City, and they certainly need to. They've got to chase the game very early on here. They launch one into the box towards Rossi, but it will be repelled pretty easily, although not convincingly. Well, lovely work there. Well, I thought it was good work from the striker Securis. He hustled back hard and then misplaced the simple pass. Doesn't work out too badly though. Hickey plays it back to Holmes. He's under pressure immediately, but shifts it out to Takatsu. He goes to Adawu. He looks to turn it inside for Hickey, but sold him a little short, and they force the turnover here. Here's Campbell for Lonnie City. Oh, just outworked by Hickey. He's broken up the play a number of times early. Now he's starting an attack. Adawu's hacked down. That'll be a foul. Will be a good one if he escapes without a booking. I think you'd be quite happy he makes this foul in the end. Yeah, so it was looking dangerous and lucky perhaps to escape without a slice of cheese there.
It didn't get any ball, just collided with Dawi, but a smart foul for mine. I think if Dawi gets onto the end of that one, he could race away and cause all sorts of trouble. Moon's over the ball. We're into the 13th minute. It's already 2-0. 2 goals coming inside 7 minutes as it comes back for Lonnie City. Campbell concede out of defence, and that's exactly what he does, puts it out of play. Throwing now for Isles. Down the line he goes, looking for Gustafsson. It's seen out again by Campbell. He's been a much improved player under Lino Schulli. Played from Miles. He's kept running. Gustafsson finds him, and he lets it run over the byline, as I believe he was offside. Luke Isles, of course, off to South Melbourne next year, already signed. 2-year deal with the Victorian Giants. All off the back of what has been a really sterling season here at Warrior Park for the ladder leaders. It's driven along for Smith. It's nestled in between Hickey and Agusu's heads. In the end, it comes out. And Launceston City pick it up. Brookfield again a little slow onto it. Gustafsson takes it. With thanks to Mearns, it's shifted wide, and it's Shuley who wins with a good body pressure. He's down for the count now as Gustafsson robs him of it. Rossi wins back. Phillips has a bit to say here. I think there's a foul against the Warriors in the finish, but Wadawu from that meaty challenge before from Shuley still in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's been down. He's getting back to his feet now, so I think he'll be all right. Which is good to see. We don't want to see an injury there, but trainer across to him, I think he's going to be all right. Doesn't seem to be in too much discomfort. It's a bit of a chance here for Lonnie City, perhaps, to just collect their breath and have a talk and try and settle things down and just get a bit unified, because at the moment it's Olympia well on top, and they've been far from their best. Launceston City have been broken down far too easily. As we see Wadawu getting back to his feet, he appears to be all right. Well, as we see the replay there, he stays down afterwards, and then more afters there with Shuley and Neymar. I think that was what perhaps lucky to avoid the foul there. This was the one that was called after that, so a few fouls in succession there.
Yeah, there was. Drewster, Greg Duffy, commenting on Launceston City's post. Come on, boys, bring us the big W, viewing from live stream in Hawaii. It's nice for him, but Lonnie C would much prefer to have his services at the back today, I think, up against the ladder leaders. Tough start so far for Lonnie City.
Yeah, they'd love to have him out there, there's no doubt. They've still got plenty of time to respond, though, 75 minutes, so if they can pull one back, that's got to be the first step here. They go down the line, but Wadawu cuts that out, and Olympia are away again here. It should be easily enough dealt with by Butler, and now they look to repel. Here's Rossi on it. He's forced wide, and I think it's going to roll out of play, and it has. Katsu picks it up for the Warriors. There's Wadawu. Tries to bring it under his spell. Goes out again. This is often the case here at the narrow confines of Warrior Park. Quite a few throw-ins in these games. Certainly a pretty common occurrence as they go direct down the line this time for Sekiris. He's hustling and bustling. Got into the back of Butler, I think. And a foul is adjudged. It's going to roll over the line anyway for a goal kick, so might even be a better result, conceding the foul here, make him play out from the corner rather than more centrally with the goal kick. They'll look to try and build something. They've not created a chance as of yet. This one's, well, the wind seems to have swerved a little bit because that got caught up in the breeze. That's convincingly played forward though, and might something break here for Rossi. He put the pressure onto Katsu, just went safety first and put it out of play, as you'd like your fullback to do.
So eventually, once they find the ball, it'll be a throw in for Launceston City. Shuley brings in for Egan. He shifts along, finds Agusu, who does well, gets by one in Mearns. Brought down by Hickey. Play goes on. Rossi gets outside of Takatsu, but Wadawu provides a little bit of extra pressure for the Warriors, and pressure that proves fruitful as the ball runs out of play and out for a Warriors goal kick. Paradisus, rock solid since taking the number one mantle with Lewis away. He drives long out to halfway to lose the head of Shuley there and keeps running, and Takatsu's on the ball. Uses it well first time, finds Gustafsson, he fires. It's a scuffed effort and easily collected by Smith, low and hard to his right.
Broken down a little too easily again though, Lonnie City. It was pretty easy, didn't have to do a lot. Neymar found space and had plenty of time to pick his spot. Didn't really finish with much conviction as Isles overlapping. Plays it in for Sekiris. He gathers, he'll make it 3-0, will he? He's offside. It doesn't matter. But a very narrow escape there. Isles bombing and played it in. Oh, he might have fouled. Is the judgment. I don't know how early the flag was up. He must have adjudged a foul, and there was a bit of bodywork there from Sekiris. You'll see them let him get away with it occasionally, not on this occasion, but Lonnie City breathed a sigh of relief. It could have very easily be 3-0 there, and Sekiris hasn't he ever got his eye in this afternoon. He is breathing confidence out there.
Teams should be a little bit aggrieved with Glenorchy Nice because they keep playing people into form. We saw Adam McEwen since his 5-goal hole's just gone gangbusters, and Sekiris is looking like doing the same as it's played from Manahu to Campbell. He plays into aisles and out of play.
They say goals breed confidence. That does seem to be the case.
But those two examples, you've got to say so. Both players have grown legs since getting those big balls. It's thrown down the line for Brookfield and it's out off Hickey.
Hoy just saying how. I couldn't say a thing. I was looking straight at a pole in that instance, so I can't explain to Hoy how, but he was certainly somewhat miffed at that decision. So Menahu will take the throw for Lonnie City. Down the line, we'll find Campbell, who tried to trap it between his legs. He was fouled though. Some body work from Isles on him, and he complains he was backing into him.
Bit soft for mine, that one.
Oh, I think it's just a physical contest, isn't it? I mean, Isles is allowed to stand his ground when an attacker's backing into him, isn't he?
There's nothing in that.
Yeah, you got to let that go, really. Anyway, presents a good set-piece opportunity for Launceston here. Compain will play it in and rising high and flicking the header on. It was Egan. But Paradise has always had it covered. He gets things moving very quickly to Sekiris. He looked to flick one on for Neymar as the referee's lined something up here. Well, he's decided to pull out the slice of cheese here. Well.
Now, we often talk about how Dogger Brown likes a slice of cheese. Nathan Bartlett loves a slice of cheese.
I'm not sure
Forever in the book.
I don't know if he earned that one, though. I'll have to have a look at the replay.
I didn't even know he was involved in it.
Didn't think there was a lot in it.
But right now, Drewster, this is dangerous times for Launceston City. Moves from this sort of distance, could do anything. Steps up, curls to the back post. It's cut off from Bartlett. Shot receiving the slice. Menahu brings down, but it's Means that picks up again. Comes a Hickey who tries an effort, and it goes in off the hands of Smith. What a strike from Shay Hickey. Used to seeing his dainty little dinks around the park, but that was a venomous strike and into the back of the net.
Just drives it home, Shay Hickey. What a hit that is. Keeper was scrambling. It was a powerful hit. We see the header clear from Menahu. Mearns trying to do it. It spills to Hickey and he just steps up and goes whack. It doesn't take a deflection, I don't think. That is just pure from Hickey. Keeper gets a hand to it. Not enough. In off the post. Too much power on the drive from Hickey. And it's 3-0 Olympia. Really just pressing home their early dominance here. And this one could be as good as over after 20 minutes. It is all one way in Olympia. Really on top here at Warrior Park and getting the goals that their superiority is surely deserved.
Fitting a goal for Shay Hickey because I think he's been super so far in the game as well. Geez, that was some strike. Comes down the line for Mearns. He does well. But Egan comes across to cut it off, and I think it's out for a corner in the finish. So another opportunity for Olympia, and it could get messy here at Warrior Park. 22 minutes gone, 3-0. 2 goals to Emmanuel Sekiris, both inside 7 minutes, and then just a moment ago we saw a cracking hit from Shay Hickey.
They've certainly awoken from the goal-scoring slump that had plagued them for that month there. They are back with a vengeance. The short corner is played, and Hoy tries to stick one in near post. Can't get it, but he might get another chance to make something happen as it spills back to him. Got plenty of time and space. He's then pressed. Oh, lovely, fancy footwork there. He plays in Neymar. The link-up play between these two, outstanding. He crosses and bangs! Oh, it's 4-0. This is outstanding. And that's Vandermeer getting in on the big centre-back with the finish of a striker. 4-0 after 22 minutes. This is clinical from the Warriors.
Clinical and game over, to be honest, Drewster. We'll see this one again. Gustafsson puts it across. It falls out. And Vandermeer, you see right in the right corner of the screen, meets it on the volley and just whacks it home. 23 minutes gone and game over here at Warrior Park.
Pick that out. The quality of the goals too. I mean, the first one was just a poor error. Since then, two thunderous strikes and some delightful link-up play on the second. This has been sublime football from Olympia. They're well and truly back, and Lonnie City, after a good couple of weeks, well, it's looking very, very ugly here early on. They've got to find a way to stem the flow here, or they might concede more, because Olympia don't look for a minute like they're done.
Not at all. We only had a moment to soak up that goal from Shea Hickey, which was an absolute scissor, and then they're back into it as play goes on. We have Hoy here. He's collected inside the box. It's back for Vandermeer out on the left. He puts it in over the head of Holmes and brought down from Rossi. Egan tries to help it out. Help further from Bartlett, who just gets it out of there. Compain rises high over to Katsu. Finds Rossi wide. He's bundled over, but play goes on. Hickey finding confidence. Little backhill to Wadawa, who uses Mearns and then gets it back. Sweeps it into the box, and it's wide of everyone and out of play.
This is a confident-looking football side, Damien. They are just on fire out there, and their heads are up there, really looking to put them to the sword here. We know goal difference would be important in deciding the title race, and they're not going to miss the opportunity here. They are flying out there. They're buzzing about the pitch. Hoy and Neymar's link-up play has been absolutely delightful to watch. And Sakiris is making runs, and when you've got the likes of Vandermeer thumping volleys from inside the box, you know you switched on. As Lonnie will clear here, Menahu lost it to Hoy again, brought it down with a silky touch, and then looked to spread the play. He didn't have anyone out there though. Just passed that one rather blind. The touch was beautiful from Hoy. He has been at the centre of everything good for Olympia early in this one. It's a bit of a shell-shocked Lonnie City. They came in off the back of a couple of impressive victories. This wasn't expected. We thought they'd be tough to break down, that they'd give them a real fight. It's not been the case. Here's a Menahu. Can they find a way to get back into this game, at least put some pressure on them? There's some nice build-up play there, and can Rossi on the end of this? He just about does chase it down, then sticks one up to the back post for Campbell. Oh, that was a great chance. And post for Brookfield. He should have buried it.
Oh, no.
John Payne had a good chance. Then Brookfield, well, two chances in a moment. Neither one of them taken there.
Should have been a goal, Drew.
And in a game you're down 4-0 and you've not looked like scoring, you've just got to take those chances. They were given something to just try and stem this flow. Now Neymar back the other way. This would be really costly if Olympia could produce something here. Sakiris has burst into space. He had Akers. He had it because he was offside.
Brookfield had to finish that, didn't he? I wouldn't mind a replay, Ash, if you can get on top of that one. I'll look at that right on cue. Rossi did well to keep it alive, let alone delivering this cross. It was Campbell who made it a contest. It fell for Compain. He could have done something with air swung.
Taken out
then the keeper's Gornsky. It's probably a penalty really for Compain, but anyway, Brookfield should have finished it off.
He was rather taken out there, Compain.
Lonnie City, that should have been 4-1. They would be very, very unhappy considering the position they're in after 27 minutes.
Yeah, their first real opening in this game. They probably were right to feel slightly aggrieved. They could have got a penalty, but they still had a chance to score. They didn't take it. He's Mearns back the other way. Oh, it's got them pinned back deep. They run at the Launceston defence and they're back in their box here as Mearns gathers. He's hacked down, but Hoy will keep going. He's dealt with. Play on, says the referee, and they're going to be able to clear. There's Zagazu has the ball. He looks up, sees not a lot on offer, so he takes his time, then spreads it out here. It's going to be Brookfield, is it? No, it's Campbell. He'll play forward, turned it over though. Campbell will jump, just out body to Katsu, but Katsu got a leg in. Now Brookfield. He'll shift it out to the wing. He's put a fair bit of pepper on that one. Set to task for Rossi to bring down. He just sees territory. Smartly, though, goes back to Menahu, who looks to play the 1-2. He's surging forward, and that's a clear foul. He was clipped. Good little link-up work there as the captain looking to get involved and get a response from his team.
And to be honest, Don Rossi's just showing his quality with some very nice touches in recent moments. They've just got to find him more to somehow get him back into this contest. It looks long gone at 4-0, but who knows if they can try and resurrect something from this first half. Could be quickly back into it. Menahu over the ball. Delivers a flat one to the edge of the box. Brookfield misses it, and then it's seen clear by Wadawu. Brought down off the head of Bartlett. Chested down from Hickey. He finds Hoy, combines with him. Gives it back to the Canadian. Sweeps forward. Cut from Bartlett for Menahu. He touches inside to Butler. Goes long. Can't pick out a black and white shirt. It's Takatsu who wins it. And Shuley sends it the other way with just a long bouncing ball that Paradisus can track down outside his area. Toes inside the 18, and Olympia will build again.
He opts to pick it up and he'll just launch this one. Paradisus sets it up very high. He'll come down with snow on it. Menahu beat Hoy, who didn't really make an attempt. He's not really an aerial threat, Hoy. On the ground, though, he's dynamite, as is this man, Neymar. They tried to bring him down. Sakira spreads it to Adawu. Can he put a cross in now? He's got a couple to aim for. He goes towards the back post. Found only a Menahu, though. He had a clear. Mearns quickly gathers it back. The danger not over. He'll spread it back wide again to Adawu. He's coming back from an offside position. That will relieve the danger for now. They've got them pegged back deep whenever they push forward here to the Warriors, and I suppose they feel they've got to sit back because early on they were cut apart by the pace of the Warriors as they launched it forward. Won't find anyone. This might fall to the feet of Hoy, and he lays it back for Hickey. He's not put a foot wrong in this match. He's been superb. Here's Sakiris. His touch was a little heavy. Fought hard. Hickey then shifts it forward for Mearns. Good work there. Cut it out, and they'll avert the danger in the end.
A little too cute there from Gustafsson, but I suppose the way things have been going, you try just almost anything as it's played long and wide from Vandermeer, picked up from Hoy. He touches inside well. It's a good effort from Shane Egan to cut it out for Launceston City. He strides away now. Push coming from Mearns. He keeps the ball, drops it off for Brookfield, and they go out on the left to Campbell, who switch flanks forward for Compain. They get inside of Vandermeer. He miscues that ball, and it's with Hickey, who's been just super for the Warriors. Forward for Gustafsson, out wide for Dawu. Dinks along out in front of the goal scorer, Emmanuel Sakiris. He holds up on Butler, waits for options. Goes back for Dawu. He puts a ball into the 6-yard line. Heaved clear in the finish, but can't keep hold of it. Launceston City has been the trouble so far in this game as Takatsu gets it down the right. They wrestle. Dawi comes out with it out of Shuley. Finds Gustafsson, who's just been a nippy little customer in this first half. He weasels around a couple and then forces a corner.
Yeah, Gustafsson and Hoy just leading him a merry dance. They're buzzing about the pitch, creating, linking up. They've been absolute dynamite, and they've proved too much for Launceston City back four. The back four that's already being run ragged by Sakiris. He is just covering plenty of territory today, working very hard. They'll take the corner short here, so can they craft something? He cuts into the box and drives. There's another one. It's 5-0. This is a rout. Olympia absolutely burying them. Lukey Isles just says, thank you very much. Sliced inside onto that left. And 5-0, this one's over, and it is looking like it could get ugly, and there is the quality of Luke Isles. Just cuts inside onto his preferred foot and nestles it in the corner.
They've been clinical, just lethal, Olympia. That was not really a glaring opportunity, but as you said, he sliced inside and just nestled it in the bottom corner. It was a really well-weighted shot, but yet again, a little too easy for Olympia. This game all but sewn up. Launceston City just have to try and get back in things and restore some respectability, because at the moment 5-0. It's pretty damning.
Yeah, their tails are up. This is the best I've seen Olympia play this year. They are playing sublime football out there. Everything they're trying is coming off. Mearns looks to hook one in. The keeper will cut that off.
Obviously, Drewster last week up against Glenorchy Knights, who are it's fair to say being beaten by everyone by heavy scorelines, but Launceston City haven't been. And what Olympia have done to them so far in this one is as a result of some really, really sharp stuff.
Well, their main title rival, South Hobart, couldn't break them down and score one in 90 minutes. They've got 5 in half an hour here at Warrior Park, and they're looking very dangerous. When you've got Isles playing as a fullback, it's the attacking might be the solution. He's McNeil been tinkering with his lineup, trying to figure out a way to fit all these big guns in there with Hoy, Neymar, Wadawu. He experimented with Neymar as a striker, and Isles, whilst he's been dynamic as a winger, perhaps for the team, in the balance, perhaps it works out better for him to play fullback for the time being.
That's an interesting point, Drewster. It might do, to be honest, because he can still give you something from an attacking sense there, and he's probably one of your better defensive players as well. He might be better than a Griffiths or a Dekatsu or a Woolley, and it might be the matter that one of them falls out of the lineup when you've got them all fit, ready and willing to go. So it is an interesting one.
It's not a bad dilemma to have.
Oh, a very, very nice dilemma, I think. Thrown now for Launceston City. They're looking pretty dejected. It comes from Bartlett down the line. Pompane heads centrally. No body home. Holmes picks it up, takes a touch. Rossi comes to close him down. He threads the needle, finds Mearns, wrestles aside. Egan finds Hickey, shifts it wider. Dawu tracks it down ahead of the line from the byline. He cuts back. Sekiris looks to head it. Butler meets with the head. It falls for Gustafsson, who volleys home. And it's 6-0. 34 minutes gone. Gustafsson gets on the score sheet. We'll watch this one again, Drewster. With Dawu, nice delivery for Sekiris. It was off his head and into Butler, and it just sat up nicely for Gustafsson. Said thank you very much and volleyed home into the bottom left. 6-0. And if it wasn't game over before, it certainly is now.
Wow, they've been brilliant, but it's stagnant there, the defence. How do you allow Neymar to just stand in that much space? Egan was there behind him, not moving. If you're a defensive midfielder, surely you've got to cut back and deny the space there. Just far too easy. It's poor defence from Lonnie. Olympia have been absolutely brilliant. Take nothing away from them, but they look rattled. They're a dishevelled bunch out there at the moment, Lonnie City, and just not working hard enough defensively. And 6-0, that makes it, what's that, 20 goals in 125 minutes of football for Olympia. Not a bad return, you'd say. As we see now, it's just Lonnie really limping towards half-time. They will be hoping that this doesn't get uglier. It might, though. They've turned it over here, and Hoy might catch him the other way. He's speedy. He's got Sekiris to pick out the middle. Here's the Canadian. What can he do? He shifts inside around Amenahu. Lays a pass off for Mearns, but it was well defended in the end by Bartlett. And it's not been often we've been able to say well defended by Lonnie today. The threat might come back as a foul is called up.
No, Drew, so they've been distinctly average in their defensive 18. Defensive third, realistically. They've really, really struggled to contain this ferocious attacking pack of Olympia. And it's all been instigated from midfield, and that man, Shea Hickey, has been all over it, pulling the strings and just picking up passes to perfection. It's been a nightmare for Launceston City so far as the ball comes down the line, trickles out of play off a Warrior boot, so it's a goal kick.
Yeah, the Hickey and Mearns partnership been so good all year. Every time we cover an Olympia game, we talk about how strong it is, and it's been the base for everything good today. It started with them. They've broken up the play, and then they've distributed it to the dynamic players in Neymar and Hoy and Sekiris, and they've just torn them to shreds there. Wadawa, of course, as well. But it's all started from the middle. They've broken up the play, and Launceston have not been able to get a foothold in this match. They've had very little possession to speak of. As Wadawa, he might be in behind here. This could get even uglier.
Good
Keeper did well
Smith,
there.
yeah.
Well done, Smith. He got out to it. But another corner, another set-piece opportunity, and the Warrior Park faithful, they're enjoying this.
Rightfully so, Drewster. As we see that one from Smith again, it was a desperate effort, but not a bad one. Probably prevented a goal off the boot of Wadawa there. And yeah, if you're an Olympia fan, this is just top-notch football.
As good as it gets from the Warriors, that's for sure. They'll go direct this time. Isles whips it in. It's dealt with by Menahu. Might come back at them. No, it was cut out, and now they can try and get something going on the counter. There's Rossi charging down the right, but his touch was heavy and it's out of play.
I still think he's the one for them when they look their best. He's on the ball. Obviously, bobbles up on him here and off the outside of the right boot, but need to feed him more. If there any chance, I think the results a foregone conclusion right now, but just restore some respectability to the scoreline. If they get 1, 2 or 3 goals away, it'd be nice. Throw now from Rossi for Brookfield. It's inside, lays for Bartlett. He threads back through for Brookfield, through to Campbell, finds some space, but Hickey closes it down and does well for the Warriors. Isles now striding away with it, gets by Bartlett, still got the ball in the bullseye. To Hickey, Goes out in front of Wadawu. Wadawu's offside.
And Launceston City, lucky he was too, because the numbers were gathering centrally. He would have had a few targets to pick out there. Once again, we see them clinical on the counter. They're just waltzing past the Launceston midfield. It's far too easy. But as pretty, as aesthetic as this football has been from Olympia, you've got to wonder where the defensive pressure is from Lonnie. They've made it far too easy. This isn't the Launceston City we've seen the past 2 weeks. We know Duffy's out, but really, it doesn't excuse some of the defensive efforts you've seen. It has been breathtaking football at times though from Olympia. Here's Takatsu. He's turned it over. Can Launceston build something now through Brookfield? He goes centrally to Bartlett. He looks to charge forward now and he lays one through, but it was far too much of a task for Compain, and Spiro Paradises gathers, and here's Hickey dropping in to receive it, and he'll play it to Vandermeer. He'll be riding a high after that volley. Doesn't score too many, Vandermeer, and especially volleys like that from inside the box. A striker would be delighted with that, let alone a centre half. He looked very assured in that finish, and it's been a real product of the game today. They've been very decisive. They've been clinical when they've finished Olympia, and that has really been the knock on them this season, if anything. Played some good football, but haven't been that clinical side.
We saw them down at Lightwood Park. It was a fortnight ago. Didn't look like... Well, they had so many chances, but didn't look like scoring. They just had one of those days where nothing was going in the back of the net, despite a lot of the ball and a lot of good attacking intent. They've definitely remedied that situation, because 6 goals already. We've still got 5 minutes running and a half of football. They've been impressive in cutthroat. As Hickey just gets outside Rossi, puts it in the middle for Vandermeer, the goal scorer. Moons back to Holmes. Dinks by 1. Plays along for Osholm. Not a lot of pressure coming on these defensive players for Olympia. It's Hoy to Zakiris inside for Isles. Runs off the back of his boot. And Brookfield picks it up. Looks back to his defence. Finds Butler, who goes to Shuley. It's along the line. The Guzu drops off. It's out in front of him again, but nobody able to chase it down in black and white. Vandermeer, Paradises, and back to him. They just played around Olympia in no rush. 6 goals already on the board.
They're going to half-time very content. They'll be quite happy with 6-0. They've got no real pressure on them to score a 7th. They'll just do what they want now. Just knocking the ball around the back. There's Menahu. Launceston City, it's going to be a tough one. They're really just going to be playing for pride in the second half and damage limitation for them. It's going to be a long road trip back home tonight, especially if they don't find a way to stem this flow of Warriors goals.
Yeah, disappointing, Drewster, because they came here with an opportunity to potentially get themselves in on the 4 and claim a 3rd scalp in a row, but geez, they're miles off that at the minute.
At the very least, you'd want to see them giving Olympia a run for their money, making them work for this victory. It's not been the case, as Wadawu fighting on there, but it's good work from Butler, but not enough to repel them. Here's Mearns. He just does that with ease, plays in Wadawu, crosses for Neymar, but Smith was alert and got down and held it well, but again, cutting them apart. Wadawu played in by Mearns, and he and Hickey have just been picking the wingers in space really at will all day.
Feel a bit for the Gloveman. I don't know of the 6 whether there was a heap he could do on many of them.
Yeah, only really the Hickey one that he got a glove to, and that was an absolute pile driver, so I did well to get a hand to it, arguably. So it's been a tough day for the keeper. Certainly can't blame him. It's been the defence and the midfield that have got a cop at his Hoy. Charging at him again. He looks up and plays it for Wadawu, but that was a very ambitious ball, and never going to find him there. He's had a pretty good half though, Hoy, so we'll let him off that one.
So South Hobart and Hobart Jeeps Evers, of course, still in the title race, but Olympia answering all their questions this afternoon at least.
Emphatically answering.
Yeah, so maybe some twists and turns to come, but Olympia looking good in the box seat at the moment. Gustafsson back for Takatsu. He's got a Guzzo marking him. He goes to Gustafsson far too easily into the centre. He finds Mearns to Isles. They'll look away. Back to Mearns, and he shifts back to the skipper and Holmes. Dinks along. Bobbles up on Vandermeer, but Brings it under his spell and goes back to the government in Paradisus, who I suspect might be playing in the... Oh, it's taken off Holmes, and it gives an opportunity for Launceston City as Rossi delivers to Compain, but it's a shocking hit. We'll watch it again, Drewster. Holmes, maybe getting a little over-ambitious, tried to take on Rossi. Good tackle from him. Tackle and ball in one. And Compain's effort was abysmal.
Yeah, just caught on the ball there, Alex Holmes. Not something he normally does. Normally keeps it pretty simple. Gets the ball moving. Just perhaps the 6-goal lead just led to him feeling a little bit too comfortable on the ball there. And well done by Rossi to force the turnover. And Compain, he's playing as a striker. Striker, that's your bread and butter, those ones. You've got to do better. Got to at least hit the target. It was disappointing in a half of few chances. They really got to do better as the through ball comes through to Smith.
Few chances, but that was probably the second of two they probably should have finished off.
Yep.
It's been a strange old half for Lonnie City. Guso now on that far side. It's out of play and out for a throw-in. Takatsu with that throwing technique that I'm very sceptical of. I'm not sure how legal it is. He just goes whack straight down. And Guso demonstrating a pretty similar one there. Surely the free kick for Launceston City. They can just draw a few breaths and send it forward. It's cut off from Hickey. So often the case in this half. Wadawu slips inside for Gustafsson, who's been electric. Puts it out back for Hickey, and he tries to find Sekiris, but it's Butler who meets it. Sees it out for a corner.
Offside, so there won't be a corner. As the referee's flag was raised there. Been a few times they've been caught offside. Olympia, but they've just been going forward in waves, shift after shift on the attack here at Olympia, and just really bearing them as Rossi plays it back to Amenahoot. He'll be hoping just to get into half time with a 6-goal deficit, I think, and that's played off Rossi, and it'll be an Olympia throw for Isles. And they have got probably a minute or two. There's been 6 goals, so you'd imagine there'll be a little bit of added time for them to try and find a 7th. Here's Hoy. He turns. Amenahoot defending him pretty well, and Rossi really dropping back deep now to help out. This one's launched by Smith, flicked on, but it'll find Van der May, and he's able to get things moving. Finds Wadawu, cuts inside now. Just Wells on it, then shifts it out to the right-hand side where Hickey is in space. He puts a cross in. That's well dealt with though by Butler, and put out a play. Again, Hickey.
Yeah,
just pulling the strings.
For me, Hickey, Moons, Gustafsson, Wadawu, throw a blanket over them to be honest. They've all been terrific. Hickey in particular, though, I think will stand out for mine. The throwing comes in from Takatsu to Gustafsson. For Takatsu. Gustafsson again. Hickey long and strong into the box. Amenahoot gets a slight head on it, but drops down for Hoy. He puts it in the middle. Moons tries to strike. It's out off Egan and out for a corner. Again,
lovely build-up work. Hoy faking the shot. Plays a beautiful ball there. They had the bodies in the way that time. It was well blocked by Egan. Had to be, and they're going to push on and try and find a 7th here. In danger far from over. Resist the temptation to go short this time, and Isles just get the ball back on the spot before whipping it in. They certainly looked likely as the ball. Well, that doesn't look to me to be on the corner spot, but anyway, they will take it short in the end. So here is Neymar, lays it back. They've gone the exact same routine that yielded a goal before, and it's worked again. Oh, hold so easy. You've got to learn from that surely if you're Lonnie City. The exact same routine they ran earlier in the half. Neymar and Isles just dinks it back to him, and Isles is able to just waltz in on his left foot, pick his spot, and make it 7-0. It takes a big deflection, lobs over the keeper. Unlucky for him, but 7-zip. This is ugly.
Fair old deflection, but still, I don't know how you don't learn from your early mistakes. It was, as you said, exactly the same as the one before. We'll go against Lukey Isles' name, the goal, and that's half time here at Warrior Park. 2 minutes of added time in that half of football. 7 goals for Olympia. Emphatic display from the ladder leaders. Looking every bit of a champion side so far. Winners across the board. Launceston City, to be honest, haven't got off the bus. They've been smashed pillar to post.
Yeah, you can judge it by the reaction of the two teams walking off. It's a confident, happy-looking Olympia bunch. Hands on heads for the Launceston City players. They've been utterly spanked out there. They've been poor defensively. They've just been cut apart all too easily, but tremendous credit has got to go to Olympia. They've been superb. I don't think they've played a better 45 this year. They've waltzed through them. They've played very pretty football. Hoy, Neymar, Hickey, Mearns, with Dawu, Sekiris, they've all fired. They've been outstanding, and they've just really waltzed through them at will. They've scored 7, and they've now got 21 goals in the last 3 halves of football.
Brewster, let's go through the goals because there were 7 of them. Here's the first one. It was an error from Butler that led in Sekiris. He took a metre and then fired into the bottom left.
That's just a defensive error. Poor header. Got to do better, really. Just nodded straight into the path of him. So that one absolutely on the defensive line, City.
It was indeed, but it was well taken from Sekiris, and he's just grown in confidence after that 6-goal haul last week. He also took the second one, which I'm sure we'll see in just a moment. But after the celebrations go, it was Hoy who played to Gustafsson. Gustafsson gave it to him before that, and he just put it back to the top of the 6, and it was tapped in from Sekiris. Far too easy.
Just unlocked by that Hoy and Neymar combination. It wasn't to be the only time in half that happened. Their link-up play was a real highlight, and just did it with ease there as the third one. This was a pile driver from Hickey. Have a look at this hit. Bang, he goes. Keeper gets a hand to it, and then off the post. But the power, just too much for the keeper. That was 3-0. The writing had been on the wall early on. The result was almost beyond doubt. We see Neymar and Hoy linking up again here for the fourth one. It's a good cross played in, and here is the big centre half, Jake van der May. Cracking the volley. He won't hit a ball better than that. Keeper helpless, and boy did he enjoy it. That was 4-0.
Yeah, the fifth. There was Isles on the end of it. 1-2 with Gustafsson, and then just fired in on that left boot. Just nestled in the bottom left. Far too easy once again.
To gap through a sea of legs. It got worse shortly after. The 6-0 on the half an hour mark. Didn't really deal with the initial header. It fell to Neymar. He was volleyed at home, and it was absolutely party time here at Warrior Park at this stage. They're scoring for fun, but they weren't done with. They failed to learn the lessons from the earlier corner routine. And the exact same one, this time albeit a fairly generous deflection. Really late in the half, this one made it 7, and that is that. They've been utterly ruthless, Olympia. They've been clinical. Not something we've associated with them this year, but it has been champagne football from Olympia and Launceston City. Wow, how do you come back from that for the second half?
Yeah, Olympia have been magnificent. Launceston City will think they've gone back to 2014. They've not looked like the side that we've given a lot of credit to over recent weeks. They've been absolutely smashed by Olympia, but you have to give a lot of credit to the Warriors because their football has been superb. We might leave you for a little bit now, maybe play some highlights and have a bit of a breather and get back ready for another half of football. Olympia 7-0 here at Warrior Park. Olympia FC Warriors are back out onto the pitch, and why not when you netted 7 goals in an emphatic first half? You want to get back out there for more of the action. Speaking to Sean McManus, the Shane trainer who's just pulling the strings on the blog, he's informed us that they've had 10 shots and a whopping 7 goals, so that's some really lethal stuff from Olympia and what was a sizzling half of football from Glenn McNeil's men.
Yeah, uncharacteristically clinical from the Warriors today. If they can play like that and show that type of finishing in front of goal for the rest of the year, then you might as well hand them the title now. They were superb, and they'll be looking to add to it, I'd imagine, in the second half. Might be a good chance for McNeil, just give a couple of his younger players a bit of a go off the bench as the game wears on with this match done. Really, Launceston City just playing for pride at this point, and really we want to see more from them in the second half. I suppose yesterday, Kingborough South Hobart, we saw the game was over at half time. We saw the Lions were able to give a better account of themselves in the second half, and you'd hope that Lonnie City can do likewise here, because they've not got a lot else to play for. It's 7-0. This one is definitely done. Olympia, well, they put 14 past Knights last week. They're on course to maybe match that again. This keeps up, it could get very ugly indeed. They've been pretty good with 7 goals from 10 shots, as pointed out, showing a ruthlessness that's been perhaps lacking in their play this year. If they've added that, then watch out. Players just about out there, and certainly it was a bit of a strut in the step of George Marcus just heading around the pitch, wasn't it? Just a very happy looking man out there, the king around these parts. He is.
Yeah,
a real spring in his step, doing his normal half-time wander around.
Every reason to have that spring in his step. Look at that, Takatsu's got the gloves out. Party time.
Just for you, Gilly, I reckon, just for you.
Those revolting fluoro numbers, get rid of them. Bin those things, they're shocking. City, I think it's half they want to just put behind them. Come out there, play as if it's 0-0. And really attack the contest. But one thing it has shown is the absence of Greg Duffy is a major one.
Yeah, doesn't he just count for a bit? Obviously, I think it'd be going a bit far to suggest that if he's out there that Olympia wouldn't still be winning this game, but you have to imagine the defence would be more organised than they have been. He's clearly a key cog. They'll be hoping he can just get back from Hawaii, was it? He was sitting and get back down here to perhaps a less warm Tassie, get back out there on the pitch, because they have severely lacked him.
I don't know how long he's away for, but they'll be hoping it's not too long, given on current form. But they've got 45 minutes to salvage something, even if it's just a goal. They try and win the half or break even in the half. It's about little battles now. They've made a change. Trethowan injected into the contest. Interesting to see him start on the bench to begin with, to be honest. He's a good player, is Harry Trethowan. Not too sure whose place he's taken. Looks like Shane Egan's gone back into defence, and it looks like maybe Bartlett into midfield. Trethowan wide out on this left. Maybe Campbell.
Campbell off.
Or is he? No, Campbell's back into defence. They've made quite a few changes,
They've
Drewster.
shifted things quite drastically, and probably fair enough given the result. Yeah, Campbell's gone to left back. He'll play alongside, looks like, Egan and Butler. It must be... just pauses there, action starts again, and Hoy looking to attack here, and oh dear, it's almost an immediate goal. Sakiris puts it wide. It could have been 8. And, well, the major shifts at the back appear to have led to even more confusion. So there are 5 of them back there, and none of them laid a foot on Sakiris as he waltzed through there and had a shot.
Trying to work out who's actually come off, Drewster. It's Shuley, who's the son of Coach Lino. Makes way. Comes across from Menahu. He moves it down the line. Out in front of Agusu, who looks to be playing wide out on the left at this half. So credit to Shuley in terms of shuffling the deck. When you're 7-0 down, there's no point putting the same 11 in the same places. So I'll give him some credit as far as that's concerned. It'll be interesting to see whether anything comes from it. Takatsu goes through the middle. Volleys up. Gusu on the ball now in halfway. Battles with Holmes. It's Bartlett who wins away from Holmes with a sliding effort and trickles into the arms of Paradisus. drives along. Long, finds Hoy. He's with Campbell. Plays inside. Moons picks it up far too easily. Rockets a shot. It's well saved by Smith, and he saves again. Superb work from the gloveman. He shouts at his defence, and rightfully so. What was going on here? Moons just allowed to wander in. Great save, first of all. Comes back for him. And another one from Smith. That's likely to feature in Spec Save of the Week. Beautiful work from the gloveman.
Let's try to catch him unawares with the second one. It was a good save, and Butler did his best impression of a Witches out there as Mills just walked past him and hit that one. Well, it started as the last half finished with an all-out assault, and Olympia looking very likely to score goals. They've had two very good chances, and we're 2 minutes into the half, so they might have shifted the personnel and changed things up, but it certainly doesn't look like it's paying any dividends just yet. They look even more confused at the back, if anything.
Ordinary start.
Miles to play it in, and he goes and tries to go near post, and just the wind taking that one, I think. It'll go out of play, so no threat there, but yeah, it's very ordinary from Launceston City at the back. Very ordinary indeed. Not really the response that the manager would have been looking for, that's for sure. Looked even more lost. Hopefully they can show a bit of fight here. So launch it long. Compain wins this one to throw in. And some good play there from the Guzu. What can he do? He plays it down the line, and you're going to see Compain hustling after it. But an offside flag is raised, I think. So that'll be brought back. Get a good shot of the eye of Damien Gill there. The Takatsu gloves. His home's over the ball.
I think I'm going to ask Glenn McNeil about them post-game. Some serious questions need to be asked.
Never let it be said you don't ask the hard-hitting questions, Damien. As we see Launceston City fighting on here. They shift it out to the right to the captain, Amenahu. We go out wide to Dom Rossi, who's looked bright in patches. He's just not had enough of the ball. Now, there's a foul is adjudged, and they'll get the ball here. Wadawu has infringed. Glenn McNeil just pointing the other way, I think, saying, oh, Callum. No, he's got a player down. And it is Neymar, who's some difficulty down there. I hope he's alright.
Tony Rossi, the manager for Launceston City, just not showing great cause for concern just a metre from him.
No, better say he didn't think there was much in it.
And it might be a fair call because he looks all right.
He's got back up pretty quickly. He's still holding at the leg a little bit. I'm sure when the ball comes in his direction, like most wingers, he'll be back up to his feet and suddenly at full fitness again. And then will shift this one across to Campbell, who's now playing at left back, and he lobs one into the path of Brookfield, but he won't get it. We're throwing now for Takatsu. He goes in. This one spills out of play. Hoy thought he should have got the ball, but it'll be Campbell throw. He's Trethowan. Very surprised he was left out of the starting 11.
Yeah, there has to be more to that, Drew, because when we've seen him in recent weeks, he's been one of the real X-factor players for Launceston City. Gives them plenty. Over this dead ball. Fires a goal. It's headed away by Holmes. There for Hickey, but Trethowan meets it first on the volley. Drops down for Hoy. He drops it off and finds Gustafsson. Turns away from Compain. It's well done from Agusu. Robs it from Holmes, but he tries the early effort. Wrong option in the finish. It fizzes wide to the left. So we see this. It was good defensive pressure from the winger. Agusu just robs Holmes of it, who's done that a couple of times today. Been a little over-ambitious in defence.
Yeah, got a little bit casual, Holmes. Not the type of things you'd expect, perhaps, if the score was at 0-0, perhaps lulled into it by such a commanding scoreline.
Still don't think it'd be pleasing Len McNeil, that's for sure, as it comes down the line from a Campbell throw. It's there for Trethowan, and then Brookfield wins in the air. Guzu finds it and gets it into the path of Compain. He's got Mearns to contend with. Mearns beats him to it, plays in front of Wadawu, cut off from Amenahu and out for a throw in. Taken quickly by Mearns, down the line for Wadawu. Looks back, finds Hickey, nudges back down that line and finds Wadawu. He brings it down, rockets it wide and right, Finds Hoy, brings it back into the centre. Sekiris fires. It's well saved again from Smith. He's saving City in this second half.
Yeah, some good keeping there again. Some lovely link-up play. Hoy put this one on a platter for Sekiris. He went near post. He hits it and just kept out. Rolls along the line just about inside of the leg save. But the keeper, credit to him. It's twice he's denied him. Olympia look to create something here. Again, they go the short corner. Normally I'll be critical, but the way they've worked it today, fair play to him. Here's Mearns hustling through, looked to flick one nicely through for Hoy. Falls for Gustafsson. He couldn't get around to Menahu though, and he should see this out of play. He doesn't. He's turned it over. Oh, turns on a two-piece there. That's some brilliant work from Gustafsson with the shot. He's well over the top, but that's some very fancy footwork from the import Gustafsson.
Look at the little outside the boot number from Mearns as well.
Yeah, it's champagne footy time for these Olympia boys, I think. Yeah. Trying all the fancy tricks.
Get the party tricks out. I suppose it is 7-0. The result done and dusted as Smith drives along. Beyond halfway, it's met on the head of Mearns, brought down, and Hoy can't keep it as Trethowan steals for Lonnie City and races away down the left. Mearns across and slides it away from him. It's a foul against the midfielder. Interesting. I thought he got a fair bit of ball in this one. We'll watch the replay. He's won the ball. Peculiar decision.
Pretty fair challenge, I'd have thought, but might make a huge difference. Free kick, not exactly the most threatening of areas, but Campbell will take. Yeah, it did seem to get all ball, that one. We'll just take a little bit of time to sort things out before we can whip this one in. The ref gives him the all clear now, so what Campbell do? He sets it up to the back post where he's got numbers, but the big figure of Alex Holmes rise highest, and Darwin will now take it away. He quickly launches it down for Sekiris to chase. Getting across there is Egan. He slid into centre back for this half. He playing central mid in the first half, but they've shifted him back there. The Butler and Bartlett pairing obviously not working out in the first half, to put it lightly. Lonnie City go down the line, flicked on by Compain. No one there though, and Holmes will just play it back to his keeper, who will have time to send it forward for Gustafsson, who lays it off there for Mearns. Set him a bit of a task, and Mearns was unable to keep it in. So spills out for a Lonnie City throw, which will be taken by the captain of Menahu. He's got Brookfield on short, Rossi too. Just ignore those options, and they've turned it over here. Hickey has been busy. That's a foul on Hoy, I'd have thought. Just a bit of a shoulder barge there. Pretty easy one for the ref to give.
Bartlett, he's on a yellow too. You wouldn't think he's on a yellow going in for those sorts of challenges,
He
but
knows
he
only
is.
one way, doesn't he?
He does indeed, as Hoy delivers in to Gustafsson. They look to link up again, that dangerous pairing, but snuffed out by Egan. He finds Trethowan. Forward he goes, but it's Hickey who cuts off. Trethowan wins back, races down this left-hand side. He's brought down by Hickey, and it's a foul against the midfielder. Shown a slice of cheese. Maybe a little stiff on that. It was a foul, definitely a foul, but
I reckon he's gone the professional foul there. He said he's well past him, brought him down afterwards. Would be the thinking there from the ref.
yeah, slice of cheese for Shea Hickey.
Blot on otherwise pretty well perfect performance from Hickey today. He's been outstanding, and yeah, professional foul. Softy, but you see him give him. This one's whipped in by Campbell. Holmes again doesn't even have to jump, and he's clearly still got the height advantage to nod away. There's a long-range hit. He's pretty tame and half-hearted. They need to do better than that if they're going to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, bit of a shocker to be honest. Got to hit it with some venom. 56 minutes gone though. You'll give Launceston City a tick for the start of the second half merely because they haven't conceded yet.
They could very well have though if Olympia were as cutthroat as they were in the first half.
Doesn't matter, Drewster, as it comes through
That's
from
a
Adawa. From Isles. Tries to thread it through. It's cut off by Rossi. Rather subdued at the start of this half, and seen out from Gustafsson and out for another throw-in. See Shuley on the bench there. He'd be pretty filthy with the day so far, but I think he'd be wanting a lot out of this second half performance.
Well, yeah, if you can win on the scoreboard in the second half, at least gives you something to take away. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something. You want to at least be able to head into next week off the back of a decent 45 and after the first half. It's not going to be hard for them to show improvement. Here's Van der May. He plays in Hoy, who's going to become a bit of a distance collect. Takatsu just kind of lob one into the middle. That was well cut off, but Hickey is there to cover. So they're not done with the campaign, laid it off, and then it was a pretty wasteful ball forward in the end, and Olympia are back the other way quickly. The goal kick, Sakiris has read this well, he's in behind. Oh, it was well done. Oh, not so. Sakiris puts it wide of the post. There's a battle there between, I think it was Egan and Sakiris. Egan appeared to have won the duel, but then Sakiris got back in the right position for the shot, and he dragged it wide, so those shots wide from Sakiris in this half. Could very well have been 8-0. Smith, who's had a torrid old day, he hasn't had to do a lot besides picking the ball out of the net, and he's made a couple of good saves. You can't blame him for the 7-goal deficit. It's been one of Lonnie City's better players, in truth, if not their best, as they go forward now, and Campaign gathers, turns, shifts it out to the right for Rossi in space, and he hits one back post, but couldn't pick out a target or the goal. I think he got caught in two minds there.
Just want to see Takatsu's work here with a double glove. He got him out. Look at these. Not getting near that. Wouldn't look that funny if he wasn't wearing stupid gloves. Play goes on. Brookfield shifts it wide, finds Rossi, brings it down. Looking for Menahu, never comes. It's won by the Warriors for an instant, but then Egan slides away, finds Bartlett. Brookfield back to him. Threads through. Unfortunately, Holmes is the one that's back for the Warriors, cuts it off. Still better for the City. They're holding on to the ball a little bit better in this half. As Campbell shifts from left to right, finds a Menahu, the skipper. Races away, tries to find Brookfield, eludes his outstretched leg, and Olympia still now through Mearns as he looks to glide across halfway. Brookfield with an intervention, but it doesn't halt their momentum as Hoy puts it out in front of Sakiris. Campbell up to the task. Oh, does well, gets it by a couple and runs away, does Campbell. Plays it. Brilliant ball, finds Compain out in front of Goose, who just runs out of play. Brilliant work from Campbell in a couple of senses there. Defensive work, and then the ball through was a spectacular one.
He's done some nice work since shifting to left back. Campbell had a pretty tough time of it, as the wind is really getting up here at Warrior Park. It's going to make things difficult as Hoy heads forward, plays in Neymar in the centre of the park. It's Menahu got there ahead of Wadawu. Hoy now on the ball. Well, I don't know who that was to. I think he was anticipating a run from Neymar that never came. Now it's launched forward in a little bit of space there. There's a Gusu, but he was offside, so nothing will come of that. And he's starting to howl here, the wind at Warrior Park. It is really picking up.
I haven't minded the changes from Lino Shuley early in the half. I think Aguzu's looked a tricky customer out here on the left. I think Campbell's been pretty good at full back.
At least he's done something. A lot of the time, not a lot being changed. That he's changed quite radically and had to with a 7-0 deficit.
Well, that would have been my knock on Colin Robbins yesterday. The changes were just like for like ones, but they too were in a similar sort of position where the game was done and dusted at half time, and although they conceded a goal in the second half, they battled well, and you could say they could take something out of that second half, which is much what Launceston City have to do today. As Isles gets down the left, finds Wadawu, he delivers into Gustafsson, fires into the bottom right as cutthroat stuff from Olympia. They continue on their merry way. That's an 8th, and again it's Gustafsson on the score sheet. Far too easy. Isles down that left-hand side to Wadawu, delivers through. Gustafsson all the time in the wheel, knocks from his right to his left foot and taps it in. Beautiful stuff from Olympia, and they continue to cause serious headaches for this Launceston City side. 8-0 here at Warrior Park.
Sumptuous football again. Isles bursting down the left. What a factor he's been at left back. He's charged in, linked up nicely with Wadawu. That's a combination on the wings that'll give any fullbacks nightmares. They linked up well. It was an inch perfect pass with them. Neymar, Gustafsson. One touch to bring it onto his preferred foot and then slots it home. That was one of the more clinical finishes you'll see. He has been outstanding today, Gustafsson. Probably the best player on the pitch up there with Hickey for mine.
Yeah.
And he gets another goal, 8-0, and Lonnie It's starting to show a little bit. They've conceded again, and it's Olympia moving forward again here. Sakiris, does he keep it in play? He does. Plays it to Wadawu. Wadawu and Amenahu battling. Wadawu's got the better. Clips inside nicely. There might be a ninth on the cards. He went himself. Probably should have crossed rather.
Good save though from Smith. You got to save.
Yeah, well done. Very nicely done, Wadawu. Wanted to get in on the act. And can't blame him with that 8-0 scoreline. Everyone else is enjoying a piece of it. Why not himself? And after dancing past a couple, he was thinking, this is a goal of the week contender. There have been some pretty tough ones to beat in this match. There's been some very nice goals scored. We tried to add a highlight real goal there. Make it 9 as we have a look at some very nice work. Shrugged off Menahu, danced around another, and then off to shoot. And it was a good save from Smith. And when you've conceded 8 and your team's best player, that really tells the tale.
Yeah, it does. Just as I was starting to give Lonnie City a bit of a pump up, they've conceded one, and they're looking again pretty vulnerable at the back. Far too easy for Wadawu on that occasion. Just slipped by a couple. Ball's in midfield now. It's one from Brookfield, but he misplaces his pass wide of Rossi and out of play. Throwing out for Isles. Down off the chest of Gustafsson. He takes a tumble. Play goes on. Aguso wins away from Hickey. He's collected more or less by Hickey. It's a foul against the experienced midfielder. No complaints on his behalf. Play goes on forward now, and Hoy cuts off the Lonnie City attack. It's brought down from Butler off Hoy's boot again. Trathoan controls into the middle. Gets by Mearns, plays Bartlett, who finds Campbell out on this left-hand side. In for Brookfield, shifts to Bartlett, through now. Campbell on the ball, goes one way, fakes the other, fires. It's a shot on target with a deflection. It's one that Paradisus easily collects.
Good job getting the foot in the lanes there, blocking the shooting opportunity. Knew what Campbell wanted to do. He's always going to cut onto that right foot. It's well defended here as we have a look. Holmes and Vandermeer, a very tough defensive pairing. Holmes probably hasn't quite been at his best today. A couple of times caught on the ball, but they've repelled most threats with pretty much ease, you've got to say. Campbell, that was a nice move to cut onto his left here wide, as he's had an impact since moving to left back. The ball's turned over, and now Mearns storming out of defence, and it's opening up again ominously, but well done there. Getting back was no, it wasn't Brookfield, it was Bartlett. Well done. But the danger not averted. They've waltzed into the box again. Neymar with the inch-perfect pass to Mearns. Mearns dances round and hits it straight at the keeper. Neymar Gustafsson again just unlocking this defence. Perfect ball. Mearns unable to get on the score sheet. He took a nice little touch there to get round. Hit the shot straight at the keeper in the end. Unfortunate. And credit to Mearns for staying on his feet there, because he did get a little bit of contact from behind. A lot of players would have hit the deck in that instance.
Takatsu now gets by Trathoan, delivers into the top of the box. It's Gustafsson who drops off for Hoy. Delivers back through to Gustafsson. His footwork is causing them all sorts of issues. Delivers in looking for Zakiris. It's cut off from City. It's with Aguzu. He goes wide. Finds Rossi. He's pretty much had all his ball in this half. In the second half, he's had it all in the defensive areas, which is not where Lonnie City want him to have the ball. He's cutting a pretty frustrated figure at the moment. Throwing comes in from Amenahu on the right-hand side. Waterloo helps it out, and he'll be out for another throw.
It's not looking like abating the scoring, is it? They're looking like they can get double figures again, Olympia.
They're looking really energetic across the board. And they've got some subs that you expect them to give a go, the likes of Jack Callan on there, and of course we love the work of the lettuce farmer. One big thing about Olympia is their depth is incredibly good. They've got Woolley and Griffiths out at the moment, who are quality players. They actually have Lockie Nichols coming very soon.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of him. He's a very impressive player too.
Yeah. Last couple of years for Olympia has been their key cog, a real key cog for them, and he's just going to add. I don't know how you fit them all in the team.
I don't know where he's going to fit there. You're not going to break up the Hickey and Mearns partnership. Hoy, he ain't going to be dropped on today. Gustafsson is going to be dropped.
It's a problem, but it's an awfully nice one to have, as it comes long for Wadawu. Menahu beats him to it. It's handball. Isles gets it moving, finds Mearns, slips by Bartlett. No, he doesn't in the finish as Bartlett recovers well, finds Brookfield. Gets it wide of Isles to Rossi. Back in midfield, Bartlett misplaces his pass to Egan. Sekiris cuts it off. Good defensive work from the striker. Receives back from Wadawu. Drops it off for Gustafsson. Takes a strike and rounds out a hat-trick. It's been a superb day for Olympia Warriors and Gustafsson in particular. We see this. Sekiris, good defensive work to get it going, and he gets an assist in the finish. Cutthroat stuff. Good finish from Gustafsson. He's probably been the player of the match to this point. 67 minutes old, and it's 9-0 here at Warrior Park.
He's got all the time in the world just to pick his spot there, Gustafsson. Far too much time and space in the box. Once again, the hot knife through butter going forwards. They've just cut them to pieces time and time again. They've been unable to deal with what Olympia have thrown at them. And 9-0, it is getting really ugly now here. It's not been a good day for Lonnie City there. They showed a little bit here early in the half, but again, they just can't deal with the waves of attack Olympia have thrown at them. They've been too quick. They've just done what they wanted when they've gone forward, as hitting the deck there as a Guzu draw the free kick. But I reckon this could get even ugly. I reckon there's more goals in Olympia the way this is going. They've shown a complete inability to deal with them.
Yeah, they have indeed. That was a pretty clear-cut foul against Alex Holmes on that occasion. Interesting to see Alex Shuley, who was subbed off at half-time. He's got his arm in a sling over there in the Launceston City bench. So, adding
salt in the wounds.
Salt in the wounds as it comes along into the box at the edge. It's cut off by Vandermeer and just steams clear and out of play. So, it'll be another throw-in for Launceston City. The wind becoming a bigger factor.
Yep, the weather starting to reflect, Schooley's mood, I reckon. He won't be a happy camper. It's a pretty dark day. It's a drive from range and a good save by Paradisus. Bartlett was the man who hit it. It was curling towards that corner, but it was well saved by Paradisus, getting down low to his right. It was a pretty good effort. It was swerving and dipping, but a good save from the keeper. He hasn't had to do a lot today. He shows he was up to the task there. As Trethowan will whip the corner in, and punch comes from Paradisus. Hoy unable to collect, so it might come back in through Trethowan. He shapes to shoot. It was blocked by Takatsu, and it'll go behind for another corner. So some pressure coming now from Lonnie as they try and find a consolation marker. This is some good play from Trethowan. Well blocked by Takatsu there, and another corner. Trethowan in no rush to take it. Look, a pretty defeated bunch out there, Launceston City, no surprise as he plays this one, and it'll sit up in the breeze, and in the end the wind really takes hold of it and takes it out of play. Very poor delivery in the end.
Paradisus on the goal kick. It's his real major test. Stood up, long and strong he goes. Approaching halfway, it's brought down from Wadawu. Moons turns it and it's out in front of Wadawu. He streams away, puts it out. Sekiris almost, but it's Smith first to it. Collects at his feet. Hammers forward with a long raking boot. Vandermeer to his gloveman. Paradisus plays well from the box to Vandermeer. Then Isles helps it down the line. Finds Wadawu, who's just been a busy little bee. I tell you what, Shane Train, you're going to have real trouble picking the votes because there's about 6 Warriors to fit into 3 spots. And that's being conservative as Wadawu plays from the left. It's collected from Smith. Hoy picks it up, leaves it for Hickey. Goes wide to Takatsu. Showing a bit of flair from fullback. Expect he probably, given visa restrictions, probably goes out of the side when Sean Lewis is fit and ready and able to come back in and take that #1 mantle.
Of course, Woody and Griffiths on the sidelines today, those 2 fullbacks with Isles playing there, and I think it's worked as good as Isles has been in an attacking sense this year. I feel it really helped the team balance having a fullback, and this one's spilled for Mearns. It could be a 10th, but he's pulled his shot wide. He's furious with himself, Mearns. He knows that was a very good chance. Again, it was Neymar crafting it. A very clever little ball in there. He's nearly added another assist to his name, but dragged well wide by Mearns. And poor Smith in goals, he's just got to be shaking his head. He's had no support in front of him at all. It has just been an avalanche, really. Every time they've gone forward, they've completely outpaced the back four. They've crafted chances at will, and generally they've taken them. A few times in the second half have been a little bit wasteful, but Sekiris is still hustling hard and working. He's after a 10th. They're really looking to run up the score. And Launceston City find a consolation goal. Not with service like that to Rossi, they won't. This one will just spill through to the keeper. He won't be troubled by that Paradisus. And now he picks it up and shifts it out to Alex Holmes, who's wide on the left. He looks it up, sees Neymar presenting short, ignores that and goes the more direct option. And why not? It was I was bombing on. Always a good option. And dealt without a play. And a good area again though for Olympia. They're looking like scoring every time they go forward.
Yeah, they are. Gustafsson, he's had some game. Oz with a throw in now. Into Adawu, receives back, fires from the edge of the box. It's cut off from a Butler head. Falls for Moons. Gets by Bartlett and tries a very ambitious effort.
Took a deflection though, I would say.
Jeez, he's lucky to get something from that.
Very. Fairly low percentage effort, but at 9-0, I think really he is just looking to score goal of the year there, Mearns.
Mearns looks in a bit of trouble.
From the manager, and Mearns has got a knock on taking him off at this point.
Yeah.
The game's done. Give the lettuce farmer or a younger fellow a go as the corner's whipped in. It falls to Holmes, then to Sekiris. Will he bury it? No, it was well blocked by Menahu. They survive only temporarily though. Now Hoy tried an ambitious effort, and that's gone all the way over the fence and just about on the highway, I think.
Campbell's been pretty good, but geez, he almost sold the Launceston City into a lot of trouble there.
Play out from the back hasn't been good today. They put themselves into dangerous situations, and again, Mutawu, he's been pretty busy himself down this wing as the referee's going to pull that back. Must have just bobbled out of play, perhaps. He's been dynamic himself with Darwood. He's given them all sorts of troubles, running tirelessly down that flank. Menahu will take the throw. Goes down the line, flicked on. Holmes gets in ahead of Rossi. Egan on the ball. What can he do? Not a lot. They'll draw the foul though. It's Mearns. Surprised we haven't seen a sub from McNeil. He's obviously just enjoying the show of how well his side's playing out there and wants to run up the goals. Perhaps knowing goal difference could always be important. Wants to bury them rather than give the younger players a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I suppose you can't blame him for doing. It's pragmatic, that's for sure.
The goal difference is starting to look very, very healthy.
Yes, it is indeed. The way they've been slicing apart defences the last couple of weeks, you've got to say, they've put the rest of the competition on nose. Can Trathoan get in behind Takatsu here? He can't. It was well dealt with very, very emphatically and put about two houses next door there by Takatsu. 9-0 the score.
Big test for Olympia next week on the road up at Valley Road against Devonport. I think that's going to be a major hurdle in the title race. If they can take maximum points from that road trip, it's tough to see them losing it, to be honest.
Obviously Zebras and South Hobart, the two main chasers, the two contenders, they've still got to play them, but even if they do drop points there, that would still be relying on those other two teams not dropping points. 5 points is a big gap, and they've, effectively made it 6 with the goal difference they've been able to run up here. So it's going to be very tough for teams to catch them. So the corner is whipped into the back post, and won't be much of a threat, and the referee has spotted a foul, and it'll allow them to clear and work on hitting double figures, and they're not messing about. They go forward with speed here to Gustafsson, who tried to keep it in, and then Madawi flicked it on. I think there's a foul that has for some reason not been called. It seemed pretty clear. Anyway, Launceston City will keep the ball. Oh, not for long though. Put him under pressure. Oh, this is dicey. This is very dicey. Gustafsson was hovering. Very easily been a 10th. Falls now to Mearns. Lays it off for Hickey, and now the referee drags it back for a foul against Bartlett. So we have a look at this earlier one, and we're getting in the back. Certainly made the most of it, you got to say, but I'm surprised the referee didn't blow that one. Set piece chance though, so try to find that 10th. Pursuit of double figures again. I don't think any team in the Victory League would have hit double figures 2 weeks in a row. It'd be rare in leagues around the world for that to have happened.
It is indeed. Hickey over the dead ball. He's got Moons just shuffling out to the right as well, but it looks like he's the likely customer, Hickey. This filthy Craig Phillips has a bit to say to people. Always got to come off for some reason. I was quite hopeful when I saw someone wondering, maybe he said to Katsu, you got to get them off, mate, those gloves. No, you can't be on here with them. But maybe he's got a little nick or something, a bit of claret. I'm not too sure.
I can only assume that's what it is. He's wandering over to the trainer. Doesn't appear to be any discomfort. He certainly didn't want to go off the field.
Might be a bit of blood on the shirt even.
Yeah, pretty small amount, I'd suggest. There's a long-range drive from Hickey. Well, they really are trying to outdo each other at this point, aren't they? They've given up trying to score the beautiful team goals. They all want to just lob their own contenders for goal of the week.
Well, he's probably got the leading contender with that thunderbolt in the first half.
He's already hit one good one from range. But, that was always going to be a pretty spectacular effort if it did come off.
Smith long and strong. Rossi brings it down well, finds Compain out on this right-hand flank. Whips it into the centre, picks out Trethone. His first touch lets him down. Takatsu sweeps clear. Brighter for Launceston City, but the finished product not there as we see Trethone just bubbled off on him.
You can see what he's trying to do, just take it to the other side of Takatsu. It would have opened up the shooting lane, but couldn't quite bring it under control, which isn't an easy skill when you're receiving a 30-yard raking cross, but that'll be handball against Mearns, I'd imagine, and give Lonnie City a good set-piece chance here to find that consolation goal.
It's been a strange old 9-0 because at times Lonnie City haven't looked too bad in possession, but the defensive issues and the defensive frailties have just been so glaring, and Olympia too have been so cutthroat that it's just ended in a drubbing more or less. Brookfield over the ball. So we wait for Craig Filthy Phillips just to give everything the all clear, and he does. Brookfield whips in. Vandermeer nods away, helped further by Hickey and out for another throw, so they don't get it out of the defensive third. Still there for Lonnie City. Brookfield throws in. Trethone brings down to Katsu, applies pressure. Nips into Trethone. It's held up and then robbed off him by Wadawu. Dinks out in front of Sakiris in a foot race with Butler. Butler, in the end, wins the ball as Sakiris gets him with a high foot.
Good defensive effort there by Butler. Haven't been a heap of them today from the Lonnie back four, but they won that duel. And credit to him, hustled back. Sakira's still very hungry. He's, of course, sitting on a hat trick, I think, so be keen for another one. Not too very early in the piece. Hasn't found a third since. He's also got the golden boot, which he's firmly in contention for. As Lonnie shifted out wide here to Amenahu. Just play down this right-hand side. Brookfield goes back. Butler down the line. Good ball for Rossi, but Holmes was across to deal with it and very intelligently just plays it out off Rossi. Oh, steals a few yards, then launches it long for Gustafsson, who chests it down. But I thought getting across fairly to cover there in defence was Launceston, but a judge to have raised a high boot perhaps. At any rate, it'll be an Olympia foul as they ready a substitution here. That's going to be the end of one Wadawu's day by the looks of things.
Lonnie City are going to make a change as well, Drewster. I think Bartlett's off and DeGhetto's on, and for Olympia I think Ackley has come on in place of Wadawu. He's put in a really good shift. He would have been close to featuring the votes from on. He was excellent, I thought, Wadawu.
Very busy. Beat his fullback a number of times. He was very much a creative spark as he used to Katsu, tried to pick out the run, and the substitutes just come on. And we were watching him in the pre-game for a little bit there. Certainly a dynamic little player.
Yeah, in the VDL, more of a key man, obviously, in the video, and some great stuff, did Ackley. Moons picks it up now. Takatsu on it, nudges Moons' way. Brookfield does well to win it, puts him back into trouble, and Moons gets by one in Campbell, finds good stuffs, and he's brought down. It's probably a penalty.
Been told to get up by the ref.
Oh, Phillips.
Phillips has given it the old get up, son.
I think Gustafsson can feel a bit stiff here. There's contact.
That's as clear as day for mine.
There's contact. That is a penalty. Very, very. If that's not 9-0, I reckon he's given it. Maybe feeling a little bit kind for Launceston City.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see it again.
It's pretty clear, isn't it? He clips him.
He clips him. He treads on his toe, actually.
Yeah, that's a clear penalty.
Maybe what hasn't helped Gustafsson is the Frostbury flop that's come with it, but I think that's just the way he does his business.
Yeah, that's clear. I thought so live play, but the referee immediately gestured, get up. So he clearly thought it was a dive, but yet he didn't pull out the slice of cheese to book him, so interesting. Should have been a penalty, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter too much. I wouldn't have thought it 9-0.
Takatsu comes off, and on comes Jack Callan, so the youngster.
You're just giving his young fellas 10-15 minutes, a bit of a taste of the action at the top here, and why not? Might as well at this stage.
Only help their appetite.
Indeed.
In the weeks and years to come. Free kick now for Launceston City. They're lucky it's not double figures. That was a penalty for sure. Smith over it. Cannons forward. It's won by Hoy. In the bullseye, they win it down, Launceston City through Egan, and then stop from the substitute Callan. It's won by Rossi, gets it out on the right-hand side, finds Compain, he gets inside, but Isles cuts it off early. Oh, Hickey, cheeky backheel, back for Isles. Got Rossi on him. Goes inside for Holmes, finds Hoy, loses it. Hickey in a battle with a Menahu. Menahu wins out. Brookfield on the ball, spins around, finds the City skipper again, who lets it run off Hoy and out for a throw-in. Down the line he goes.
The more I like Isles at left back, Damo.
As it comes, and DeGhetto trying to get out on the outside of Holmes. Holmes just wise to the situation, picks it up, finds Isles. Isles forward now, looking for Securis. It's cut off for Egan, put inside. It's Moons who gets it going Olympia's way. It's out in front of Securis. He bursts into the box, but he's offside.
How delayed was that?
The flag is up and thwarts a promising attack for the Warriors.
She was up pretty late though.
If we look where the ball's going, it was a very late call.
Don't understand that one.
Yeah, strange, peculiar. Amenahoop drives long and strong. Callan wins. Unconvincing header. Trethowan gets it in the middle. Agusu strikes and it's wide. Better from City. Better. Trethowan, I don't think he meant to do that, but it's almost a very good assist on his behalf. Just grazes by that right upright. Decent hit from Agusu.
Yeah, just skewed wide there. It was a good hit, just wide. And I say Trethowan's offered him plenty since coming on. He's offered him a bit in an attacking sense as Hickey just wins the ball yet again. He's been doing that all day, and then a fancy little pass that didn't quite allow Hoy to get in there. That was broken up by Egan. He's still fighting away though, keen for double figures. This one's lob forward. Van der May will lead back in the race. I don't think anyone's going to get to it before it goes across the byline though. As I said before, I really have liked Isles at full-back. He's been very solid defensively, and when you see the bloke who's been playing at wing all year, I suppose you might think, will he be as solid defensively? But I don't think he's been beaten today, and certainly offers plenty offensively, and it does allow you to fit Hoy, Gustafsson and Wadawa into the same starting lineup.
I think that's maybe what South Melbourne have signed him in mind for, the full-back position. As Agusu turns with it, it's cut off by Holmes. Out for that man, Isles. Finds Hoy. Undersells Hickey, but Hickey's up to the task. Battles through. Finds Holmes. Back now for Paradisus. His distribution left wanting a little bit today. Squirted a few balls. This one's out for a throw. Campbell, who's offered a bit down this left flank in a defensive position in the second half. In for Brookfield. Back for Campbell. Pressure coming from Ackley, who more or less just collides into the fullback, and it's a clear free kick for City.
Just a bit overzealous there from the youngster. It's too surprising.
If you're City from here, you just want to hold out and make sure it's not double figures, don't you, Drewster?
Yeah, I suppose so. Or try and find one yourself through your captain, Amenahu. It was a nice build-up, but not quite the finish. He brought it down with a beautiful touch to set himself up, and then tried the spectacular toe volley. It would have been a very nice goal, and something at least to take back up the highway north with you. But it's not going to be a lot, but it'll be a pretty solid bus trip back, I'd have thought. Not a lot to cheer about as Egan plays in Brookfield. Brookfield will shift it out with a nice pass, but it's cut off by Isles. Sees it out of play. I'll tell you what, I hope there's not too much out of time. It's getting quite awful out here. This game's done. Let's get her off, I reckon.
It's Arctic. Very cold. Compain on the ball, throws in, finds Rossi. Haven't seen enough of him in the second half. Plays wide and he's overcooked the goose.
Just a bit.
Put it long and strong and out of play. Throwing deep defensive areas here for Olympia. Young talent, Callan, throws in. Hickey with an interesting header. Pummeled clear by Vandermeer and out of play. Throwing now for Campbell. Down the line he looks, and that's where he goes. And it's Callan who gives a free kick away. Some contact on Trethowan, the second half substitute, who, as you rightly pointed out, Drewster's been pretty decent, giving them an option.
Interesting post-game why he was left out of the starting lineup.
It's going to be a few questions. City, disappointing showing, that's for sure. Oh, ball swung into the box. The wind almost makes it a decent strike. So we see this, just picks it up. Big gust. Paradisus asked the question.
Yeah, he was anticipating where the ball was going, and then the ball has been caught by that wind and nearly killed at the back post. He did well to recover it. Nearly a Matthew Lewis-esque effort, that one.
Paradisus jukes it on his line on this occasion, out for Ackley. Shoots ahead, finds Gustafsson, the hat-trick hero. He brings it down. I think he's offside.
Yeah, I think he was on this occasion. So have a look at the replay. Looked at live. We've got a pretty good view of it down the line here as City will go forward again, but turned over. Vandermeer plays out. He's Rossi now. Rossi driving at the defence, but can't get through. Big Vandermeer, he dealt with that. Here's Amenahu. End-to-end football here to end. It's been pretty one-way football for most of the day, though. They go forward, and again Vandermeer cuts it out. He finds Burns. Things opening up ahead of him. He is his young substitute chasing after it. What can he do? He won't get around Campbell. Or will he? Well, the little fella is getting a bit physical on a man who has got a few feet on him. And
didn't mind it. A little bit of niggle from the
tenacity.
Little terrier. In the 90th minute, Drewster.
Yeah, well, he's only had 10 minutes or so out there, so he's absolutely keen to show his manager McNeil that he can give him an option off the bench.
Smith takes a free kick, drives long beyond halfway. Hickey wins it on his own, brings down for Gustafsson. He nudges it ahead of Hoy. It's cannoned from Egan into the hands of Hoy. They're very lucky, Launceston City, because Olympia were away there. A handball saves them.
A 3-on-1 if that wasn't handball there. She was opening up big time.
Egan shifts it from right to left, but too much on the ball for Trethowan and runs out of play. Throwing for Callan, down the line for Ackley. Nudges inside for Mearns, he loses it. Rossi on the ball now. Plays wide, picks up Compain. Controls down, looks to cross halfway. He does well in the end, finds a Gusu. He's got Vandermeer for company. Amenahu offering wide. Inside is Brookfield. Opts to go longer. And out to the left and finds Trethowan. Inside to Rossi. Bit of a shimmy and a shake, but can't get by Mearns. Or in the end, it's just somehow got to Ghetto. Finds Brookfield and he coughs it up. Gives it to Hickey. Forward for Gustafsson. He's got Butler to contend with. Goes one way, beats him the other. Fires across. And Compain back to help out and sees it away from Hoy and out for a corner.
Yeah, Gustafsson again running at defenders, and once again it was from Shea Hickey, who's been fantastic dictating the play. I think those two have been the pick of the players on the pitch today. And it's pretty stiff competition out there, but Hickey's just been picking those passes all day long, and whenever he's found Nemo, he's just wreaked havoc as Hoy thinks about going short again, the Canadian, to Gustafsson. It's worked for them twice today. And he'll play the direct ball this time. Hoy it's in, and a diving header from big Alex Holmes there. Tried to get it squeezing inside the post. Couldn't quite. It was a good effort though. He had to get his body into a pretty awkward position. Made good contact with it, but the 10th goal still eludes them. Just the 2 in the second half, although they probably had as many chances as they did in the first half. They've just been a little bit less clinical.
Well, that's the thing. 7 goals in the first half from about 10 shots on target. And that's full time here at Warrior Park. Not a lot to crow about for Launceston City. They came down the highway looking to take their 3rd scalp in a row. It didn't happen. Olympia dominant here on their home deck. 7 goals in the first half, put it beyond doubt, and 2 goals in the second half. Made it a really thumping win for Glenn McNeil's men. They're on fire at the minute. They'll continue on their merry way at the top of the table, a 5-point gap on their nearest rivals, South Hobart.
Yeah, 23 goals in 2 weeks now for Olympia. They're well and truly back after 3 goals in a month. They have well and truly rediscovered their goal scoring touch. They've got players coming back as we look at the highlights. They were outstanding today, Olympia. They were absolutely brilliant. Some of the best football they've played this year. A real warning to the rest of the competition. They re-established that 5-point gap. Glenn McNeil will be delighted with that performance that I thought. There wasn't too much wrong with it. Lonnie City, they'll head back up north, pretty disappointed. They'd shown real vast improvement over the past 2 weeks, and this is a really disappointing display from them. But take nothing away from the Warriors. They were at their brilliant best, and they'll leave Warrior Park today a very confident bunch that they can go on and win this title. They are well and truly re-established themselves as clear favourites. They're going to take some chasing if they play football like this. It's hard to see how the other teams are going to catch them.
Some of the best football for the year, I think, Drewster. Before we wrap up, your best players.
My best players, well, I'd have to say Nemo Gustafsson was outstanding. He just led them a merry dance. He waltzed around them like they were witches' hats. He scored a hat-trick. He created a host of other chances. He was absolutely brilliant. Shea Hickey pulling the strings in midfield alongside Mearns. They won the midfield battle well and truly. That's where it all stemmed from. But really anyone who was an attacking player today for Olympia was good. Sekiris bagged a couple. He did a mountain of work off the ball. He was good with Dawu. He created plenty. Hoy, his link-up play with Gustafsson was a joy to watch. He really is a real entertainer, Hoy. He does the fancy things, and today they were coming off. And you've got to say the attacking players really fantastic. I've got to say Smith was pretty good in goals for Lonnie City for a guy who's seen 9 goals fly past him. Would have been worse if not for him, but unsurprising, I think the best players are all Olympia's attacking players.
The white shirts dominated, that's for sure, down here at Warrior Park. 9 goals to 0. Olympia, as I said, continue on their merry way. 5 points clear at the top of the table. Join us next week for more PS4 Victory League action as we tick into round 14. The last game of the second round as things really heat up in this title race. Hope you've enjoyed today's coverage. Bye for now.